vamos à primeira verificação do som. Som funcionando e estamos de volta com The Forgotten City. Já na última gameplay o jogo já deu aquela animada, a história ficou interessante. Quem não assistiu, assista, tá lá no YouTube, no canal Moragas Gamer. E para quem já tá vendo no YouTube, esses vídeos são gravações das lives que eu faço na Twitch, no canal Moragas Gamer. Quiser ver ao vivo, chega lá, dá um salve no chat. E quem gostar, dá o like, ativa o sininho, se inscreve, indica para um amigo. Eu agradeço muito. Vamos ajudar o velhão. Bora continuar. Ó. Ah, tá. Beleza. A gente terminou meio de supetão até a outra gameplay, a última, porque caiu. Esse cara, o Rufius, estava até bravo comigo. Quer ver, ó? Ah lá, ó. Ele ficou bravo. Eu dei uma insultada nele, né? Não, acho que esse cara eu já falei tudo. Deixa eu ver o Galerius.
I went and did as you asked, and it worked. How is it
eu sei.
that you've just arrived here and you already know everyone and exactly what's about to happen to them?
Eu vou falar que ele não acreditaria.
Oh, come on. I just did as you asked. The least you can do is level with me. I'll keep it between us. I promise.
Então aí eu falo.
You're toying with me, right? Wait.
Vai.
You're not kidding, are you? That's the only way you could have known. You're a bit like... Oh, what was his name? Sisyphus. Yeah, that's the one. Old King Sisyphus.
Ah, tá. Vamos ver pra ele contar quem que é.
A long time ago, for daring to think he could outsmart the gods, he was given a terrible punishment. He was forced to push a great boulder up to the top of a hill. Only, just as it reached the top, it would roll all the way back down to the bottom.
Ah, me tiraram da conversa automaticamente. Enfim, vamos falar com a Aurélia. Essa aí deu golpe.
I'm Aurelia, and I hope I'm not being too forward, but the moment I laid eyes on you, I was intrigued. There's a light in your eyes I've never seen before, a certain learning and sophistication.
Vai chutando aí. Não vou insultar ela. Eu vou elogiar
Coming
ela.
on a bit strong, don't you think? I take back what I said. Suddenly, I don't find you so intriguing anymore. Let's just forget that ever happened, so we can at least do business. So, what brings you to my tavern?
Vixe, eu fui rejeitado pela Aurélia. Ganhei até um achievement.
Let it go. Nothing's going to happen between us.
Tá. Ela ficou... Não, ela vai falar que sabe. Vai me pedir grana. Eu vou perguntar por último.
Drink helps with that. As the saying goes, to drink is human, so we drink. Certainly, for 10 denarii.
Não, essa aí não. Bem que eu tenho bastante, vai, vou pagar.
Have you met Livia? She used to do my hair until one day she just snapped. This place has that effect on people. Now she just stands around, caked in filth, muttering nonsense to herself. It's a real shame. Now I have to do my own hair.
Tá. Não,
Whatever you
não
like.
vou.
You know,
Vamos ver quanto que ela vai pedir
I'd
aqui.
expect you to buy me a drink before asking if I want to get out of here. I guess that went right over your head. Never mind. As a matter of fact, I do know a way out.
Vamos ver quanto que ela vai
I'm happy to
pedir.
tell you all about it, but this is valuable information we're talking about, and I don't just give it out like some cheap oracle. So, how badly do you want it? Is it worth, say, 1,000
1,000, vai lá.
dinar to you?
Vamos ver o que,
Well,
que
I
ela
can't
vai
tell
falar.
you too much, or you'd figure it out for yourself. But I promise you, you'll never have to spend another hour in this city ever again.
A mentirada. Vamos perguntar por que que ela não saiu.
Simple. It's a one-way trip, and I'm not ready to go just yet. I like my life here. One day, maybe, but not now. I think of it this way. I have something of value, and I'm willing to share it for a price. That's not unethical. That's just good business. Now, do you want it or not? Ha! It's
Ela não
hardly
posso nem
my fault
aceitar.
if people misunderstand the terms of a deal. I mean, it does say, let the buyer beware, right outside my tavern. All right, see ya.
É. Enfim. Conforme esperado. Será que eu posso subir?
The many shall suffer for the
Ah!
sins of the one.
Caramba, hein? É, eu acho que foi por eu ter... Ah lá, o cara... Ah lá. Eu acho que eu ter entrado lá no quarto lá dela, lá no segundo andar, deve ter sido considerado tipo trespassing, né? Invasão. E aí vários pagaram.
Salve, friend. Mind telling me who you are and what you're doing with that bow on your back?
É, eu já vou mandar ele lá. Eu vou tentar salvar o Ultius lá. A Yulia. Nossa, mas tem tanto. Opa, bem-vindo ou bem-vinda. Bom, eu vou falar pra ele impedir a Fábia.
Alright, let me see. Stop Fabia going in, but send the new arrival to the empty shrine. Understood.
Isso, pra ele matar o assassino. Eu posso fazer tudo. Então vai no Rufius.
Poor guy. My uncle was a victim at rheumatism's altar, and he ended up killing himself. All right, got it.
Yulia.
Yulia? Oh no. All right, I can do that.
Que beleza.
I'll go, but once I'm done, I'll need you to tell me how you know all of this.
Oh, não, agora eu achei top. Não precisar fazer nenhuma das coisas que eu já fiz foi muito satisfatório. Vai, vamos olhar aqui. Esse aqui, quero parar ele diz pular lá. Vamos ver a Fábia, depois eu tenho que perguntar pra ela. Beleza, é esse aqui mesmo. Vamos lá, lá em cima, lá ó. Longe pra boné e vamos de tirolesa. Eu não sei se eu subir foi por aqui. Que eu sei que não é direto. Embora agora eu consiga escalar algumas... não é aqui. Aqui o caminho tá muito errado. Agora eu já consigo escalar algumas coisas de ouro, as plantinhas lá na própria parede do castelo e tal.
Fear is proof of a degenerate mind.
Não vai ser aqui, eu acho. Se bem que agora que eu tenho o arco, às vezes eu consigo fazer algo diferente. Ali, ó. Ah lá, o cara. Aqui, ó. Por exemplo. Não me adiantou muito, né? Não sei se... Não ganhei nada aqui. Gastei uma flecha só. Será que eu entro aqui? Não, vou ter que pular. Aí, cai na água, tá de boa, né? Não adianta conversar com esse cara agora, que eu ainda não tenho as provas. A chave é que eu já tenho. Aqui. Caramba, hein? Eu devia decorar esse caminho, viu? E essas aqui, eu acho que eu não sei se eu tenho, não. Você é quem? Vamos falar com você, eu não lembro se eu falei tudo. Pelo jeito não, né?
Oh my. I take it people are quite direct where you're from. I suppose it's quite charming in its own way. Usually, however, you wouldn't simply march up to a Vestal priestess and without due formality or courtesy ask, "What is your story?" The proper approach would be to arrange an introduction through a mutual acquaintance in high office, by which time you would already know how to address me. And then you would find a way to satisfy your curiosity rather more indirectly. But to be honest, I've often thought what an unnecessarily formal way to communicate that is. So, let's do it your way. You just keep being
Então me deu seu irmão à
yourself
toa.
and ask whatever you like. It'll be a refreshing change.
Então vai.
You know, I'm not entirely sure. But what about you? How did you end up here?
Ué, é ela que começou?
Karen, you say? And nothing about that name seemed odd to you? Older. I see. I wonder if... No. I
Vamos perguntar o
apologize.
que ela ia dizer.
I don't mean to be cryptic. It's just that you've got me thinking. Have you spoken with any of the others about how they arrived here too? I really think you should. Go around and ask them what they remember and see if you notice any patterns.
Eu já anotei já.
Good. Thank you. But please be careful. I just don't want to see what happened to Livia happen to you too. You have.
Ah lá, eu já anotei o padrão. É o rio.
Yes, I understand many of our friends were carried here by a river current. What else?
É o que eu notei. Teve um só que falou.
There are definitely some common threads there. But I think we'll need at least a few to ensure we're not just seeing coincidences. Keep asking people how they wound up here. I don't want us to rush to any conclusions yet. Livia's fate weighs heavily on my mind and dictates we should be sure. Yes, you should ask the others first. I'm quite sure it's the work of the gods, which is strange because they've never been particularly concerned with our misdeeds, as long as we've kept the peace of the gods. We asked for blessings, for good health, bountiful harvest, military victory, and in return, we offer praise, wine, incense, or animals. But here, it seems they require much more of us. I find myself reminded of an especially pertinent tale from our great poet Ovid in his epic Metamorphoses. Would you like to hear it? It is rather long.
Pega nada, a gente escuta.
Wonderful. It goes like this. Baucis and Philemon were an old married couple living a humble life in a small town. One night, the town gets a visit from a couple of vagrants. They go from door to door, asking for a place to stay the night. Of course, being vagrants, they're turned away sharply from house after house, 1,000 in all, until finally they come to the little cottage where Baucis and Philemon lived. Now the kind old couple had very little to offer, but nevertheless, they invite these strangers into their house and offer them food, wine, and a place to stay. Immediately the guests make themselves at home. They begin gulping down the old couple's wine, so much so that Baucis, the old lady, begins to worry they're going to run out. And then she notices something strange. Her wine pitcher keeps refilling itself, as if by magic. Realizing only a select few possess such powers, says to her husband, Philemon, "I think these men are gods in disguise." Immediately the couple begins apologizing for offering such coarse wine, and the vagrants metamorphosize and reveal themselves to be Jupiter, the king of the gods, and Mercury, the trickster god. They confide they didn't mind the meager offerings. They were just pleased that someone in the town offered them hospitality. Then Jupiter says to them, "You have passed our test, but everyone else in this city failed, so we are going to destroy this place and everyone in it, except you, who we will grant a wish." So old Baucis and Philemon escape up into the mountains safely, and they receive their wish, which is for eternity together. Meanwhile, Jupiter carries through with his threat and wipes that city off the map. Some say the moral of that story is that we must all honor the sacred rituals of guest friendship, the reciprocal obligations owed between hosts and guests. But I like to think It's that we should always show compassion for those less fortunate than ourselves.
Opa! Fala, Marcos Pavan. Boa noite, brother. Valeu pela presença. E valeu pelo follow. Pode ter certeza que depois será retribuído o follow. É complicado, né?
I'm pleased to hear it.
Concordar para.
And did you notice anything? A pattern?
Ah, não, tá. Tem lapso de memória, mas eu acho que foi um só que falou. Vamos esperar mais fatos mais concretos. Sim, senhora.
I don't want us to rush to any conclusions yet. Livia's fate weighs heavily on my mind, and dictates we should be sure.
Eu vou perguntar. Pera aí. Vamos ver.
It seems to me we're exiled here until the gods judge us, one way or another.
Beleza.
Come back to me
Então,
once you've acquainted yourself with the rest of our neighbors.
Sim, senhora. Voltarei. Olha a estatuinha aí falando comigo. Não, vamos subir. Só não lembro se era por aqui. Tô achando que não, hein? Olha lá, ó, fechado. Tem que achar outro. Olha lá. Tem um matinho ali pra subir. Olha lá, mas é lá, ó. Que coisa, né? Esses caminhos tortuosos. Olha lá, eu entrei por lá. Tá. Vamos por esse rumo aqui. Eu achava que não era entrando aqui, né? Eu até vim ali. Vamos subir nesse prédio aqui e ir pro outro. É uma boa. Deixa eu tentar subir aqui nesse telhado, ó. Ele não vai. Ele não vai. Tá. Descer por aqui, ele também não desce. Rapaz do céu. O trem fica travado mesmo. Vai. Beleza.
Oi.
Eu tenho.
How did you get in there, you cheeky little stirkers?
Vai ser esse caminho aqui, ó. Ah, você eu acabei de conversar. Pode ficar aí. Na buena. Vamos lá. Agora eu acho que posso estar no caminho correto. Aí, ó. Agora eu poderia escalar o muro em algum lugar aqui que eu já tive a oportunidade e não escalei porque eu não tinha o arco. Então estátua, você tem que esperar, pô. Ali, é bom lembrar, porque ali fica o como é que chama? Vai, vamos ver se nós salva ele dessa vez.
Salve, friend. I'm Octavia. Welcome to life under the golden rule. It's a ghastly thing, is it not? How are you faring so far?
Falar com...
All right, well, it was lovely to meet you. I look forward to getting to know you better over the coming months. And if you ever...
I can't believe this is how it ends.
Aí.
Oh, no.
Vai, vamos lá.
No.
Ulpius, vamos ver
Ulpius,
se eu te salvo dessa vez.
If you lose your balance, you'll fall.
That's the idea.
What? Why? Why would you want that?
Why do you think I'm stuck for the rest of my life working for a man who treats me like an animal?
I know things are hard for you right now.
Ah, eu acho que ele pulou porque eu perguntei o que ele arrumou pra tá devendo tanto.
Just think this through. If you do this, it could be the sin that seals all of our fates. Is that what you want?
I'm sorry, but I just don't care anymore.
Please, Ulpius. Help him. If he goes through with it, it could be the end for us all. I don't know what to do. I've never had to deal with this sort of thing. Please, you need
Pode
to
deixar
talk to him.
comigo.
Thank you. And please, choose your words carefully.
É, eu tô ligado.
You know about that? How is
Say.
that possible? I mean, I've never mentioned it to anyone. Well, if you say so. You don't understand. I don't want to hurt anyone. I just want it all to be over. It's too late for that. Yulia and I made a pact.
Não.
And she's already swallowed hemlock this morning. If I backed out now, I'd be betraying her. I can't do that. Oh, really? That changes things a little. But we're still in debt bondage to that monster. Unless you happen to have 2,000 denarii to pay off both of our debts.
Ah lá, eu perguntei aqui. Aí, eu vou oferecer, né?
No. No.
Ah, não.
Time's up.
Puxa vida.
Wherever you are.
Não.
Scintilla, my love. I'm sorry.
Ah,
Ulpius, no!
não. Que relaxo.
I can't believe he went through with it. Oh
Não.
Lord. That poor lad.
Ué, então...
I'll have to let everyone know what happened. And I guess Malleolus will have to clean up the mess in his villa. It's of his own making, after all. And I'd best pray for poor Ulpius.
Eu posso usar isso pra... Eu posso usar isso pra chantagear o Malleolus, que o cara morreu lá. Lá na casa dele. Isso aí vai atrapalhar a candidatura dele. Né? Aqui, ó. Também tem bom, nem sei se é. O trem da cisterna, pegar duas à direita. Eu não sei se esse é o teatro. Quer ver? Vamos ver aqui se tem alguma coisa escrita aqui, ó. É templo. Bom, eu acho que o teatro é por aqui mesmo. Sei lá. Ah, tá. Retiraram uma placa, entendeu? Daqui. Tá, provavelmente uma de cada lado, ó. Bom, da outra vez eu segui ele e não morri. Ixi, ó, dá até... Esse é o salto de confiança do Assassin's Creed. Agora vamos... ameaçar ele.
That was either extremely reckless or impressively clever. Well, why have you risked life and limb to see me?
Vamos lá, ó. Sai das eleições.
Are you
Que eles queimam o filme dele.
You barge into my villa uninvited and then make outrageous demands? Why would I withdraw from an election I'm bound to win?
Eu vou falar que morreu um cara aqui. Olha lá, ó. Não. Não. Caramba, hein? Vou na primeira, vai.
Don't talk nonsense. There's no such thing as the golden rule. How could you possibly know that?
Eu vou falar que eu sei o futuro. Não. Falar que não interessa.
I don't know how you know about my plans, but I'm absolutely sure Sentius is involved somehow. And now, I'm going to enjoy watching Domitius kill him even more. Now, get out of here. You outstayed your very limited welcome.
Não adiantou, hein? Não vai abandonar a eleição. Bom, vou falar com a Fábia. E com a Lívia. Vai. Vamos falar com a Fábia agora que a gente pulou aqui embaixo. Eu achei... Deixa eu ver se eu falar com a esposa dele. Você vai me ajudar em algo. Vamos ver aqui que eu já falei com ela. Eu tô ligado.
Domitius, come quickly. We're being robbed. This is outrageous. Do I need to call Domitius? Get out. Do I need to call Domitius? Get out.
Então nada. Bom, pelo menos eu chutei outra tentativa. Eu acho que é... deixa eu... Chora não.
When Malleolus wins the election, yeah? This place will change. You won't even want to leave. You'll see. I think it's gone on long enough, and Malleolus is going to put an end to it once he's elected. He's going to announce it in his victory speech. Just you wait and see. We've already lined up the votes he needs to win. Just stay out of our way, and we won't have a problem. Malleolus, of course. If old man Sentius can't even protect his own daughter, how can we trust him to protect us?
Beleza.
Whatever. Just remember, I'll be watching.
Tá. Muito preocupante.
I hope you have a good reason for flouting my weapons ban.
Não. Deixa eu falar com ele então. Vai. Ele reclamou da arma, né?
I assume you already know who
Ah lá.
I am. May I know
Falar
your
com
name?
ele, pelo jeito, é só quando eu...
We have? Wait, if I understand correctly, someone is about to break the golden rule, forcing me to create a portal in time to bring you here? I must have entrusted you with figuring out who the culprit is. Only, I assume we failed, and you had to start over.
Exato.
Is that about right? If so, what happened? Seems rather brash, but all right. Why have you sought me out? Sextus Sentius Imperiosus is my name, though magistrate is the proper way to address me. Before I wound up here, I was a decurion in the cavalry of Imperial Rome, helping protect civilization from the barbarians.
It's a cavalry officer. I had 30 men under my command. This was my uniform. As magistrate, I usually wear a toga, but today I may need to survive long enough to create the portal for you, so it seemed prudent. My men and I were at the Emporium in Rome as honor guard for a visiting dignitary arriving upriver by barge. Now the port is usually bustling, but just as our guests arrived, waves of people began running toward the river from streets and alleyways in every direction. They were trying to escape a terrible fire. Unfortunately, the crowd sent my horse into a panic, and I remember it losing its footing by the water's edge. The next thing I knew, I was waking up on a riverbank not far from here in the company of some stranger. I went looking for my horse and discovered that lonely temple. You can probably figure out the rest.
Mention a stranger. Ah lá.
I was elected 7 months ago, uncontested because of my command experience. Since then, there's been growing agitation for another election. They're supposed to be annual, but I agreed to hold it sooner, hoping it would placate my constituents. Unfortunately, it just seems to have emboldened certain elements instead. Very well. If I did, I'd have led these people out of here already. Thank you.
Beleza.
I'll be waiting here for news.
Então vamos falar com a Equita lá. Eu tô entrando aqui porque... Ah, já lembrei. Eu explorei aqui que eu vi as cartas lá da irmã dela. A Equita tava ali em cima, ó. Aqui, junto com esse cara, ó.
Fear is proof of a degenerate mind.
Again. Did you find what you need? And did you notice anything? A pattern?
Stranger.
Yes, I also had such an encounter. What else?
Só? Será que eu mando lapso? É aquele cara que não conversa mais comigo.
That's true. I know I wasn't entirely sure how I wound up here. It's as I feared. I think I understand what poor Livia has been going through. You mentioned earlier I met a young woman in the forest named Karen, yes? I see. And was this Karen by any chance wearing a hood? Because I've seen her before. There's something I think you should see. I think you'd better follow me to the baths.
Que beleza. Vamos descobrir uma coisa boa. Ah, tá. Bom, apertei o A para seguir ela. Ele tava tão devagar que eu... Era aí, estátua. Que need my help aí. Bom, até agora não tô vendo nada. Na piscina. Opa, bem-vindo ou bem-vinda. Tem uma escada lá, ó. Dentro da piscina.
All right, you're here. You were asking how I knew the young woman you met by the river was wearing a hood. Here, look down at the bottom of the baths. It's a little hard to make out in this light. If only we could see. Oh, what a marvelous lamp. But do you see it? Somebody waking up by a river in a forest to find a hooded figure with a coin. It's just as you described it, only your pronunciation is a little off. The name you heard wasn't Karen. It was C-H-A-R-O-N, as in Charon, the ferryman of the dead. Charon, who, in exchange for the right coin, helps the souls of the newly deceased cross the Styx, the river that separates the land of the living from the land of the dead.
When I tracked you out the river,
será
I
que
thought
nós
you were never gonna
morremos?
wake up. I checked your pockets for ID, but all I found was some loose change. Feels like I've spent my whole life in a dead-end job with an endless commute. Sorry if I sounded cagey, it's just that I don't always get the best reactions when I introduce myself. My name's Karen.
I'm so sorry, my friend. I'm so sorry. I take it you know what this means. I'm afraid so. It's all starting to make sense. All these people whose last memory was running from the fires toward the river. It seems none of them escaped with their lives after all. Perhaps we should be grateful they don't remember their final moments. It also tells us that the golden rule is the work of Pluto, the god of the underworld, and why his epithet has always been Father of Riches. I know it's a lot to take in, and you look as if you have questions, so I'll try to answer them if I can.
Cacete, agulho.
First thought too. In the
Aí,
old
nós estamos
stories,
mortos.
the underworld was where the souls of the deceased were taken. But it was also possible for the living to reach it without dying.
Ah, tá. É possível estar aqui vivo.
So I'm afraid I don't know.
Então não dá pra saber, tá? Não deve estar morto, né?
Oh, I'm sorry. I keep forgetting you're not from here. If you were Roman or even Greek, you would know these stories. Each of them is slightly different, whether the storyteller was Plato, Homer, Virgil, or Ovid. But they always involved the souls of the dead meeting a grim ferryman named Charon on the bank of a river. It was said that he'd help the new arrival cross only if they could pay him with a coin, an obol. That's why it was once our custom to bury our loved ones with a coin in their mouths. Charon's obol, we called it. Of course, an obol was a kind of Greek coin, because we inherited this knowledge from the Greeks. To be fair, the ferryman isn't exactly as the poets described, and he, she, they seem to appear to different people in different guises. You say you saw a young woman named Karen with a hood, and I once heard Kabash mention a stranger in a ram headdress named Kerti, and Rufius described meeting a stranger named Kumut Tabal wearing an eagle headdress. But whatever
Ah, então cada hora ela aparece jeito.
Wearing a hood of some sort, and their name always began with a K sound. I suspect the only way you'll solve this riddle is if your paths cross again. Good question. Let's see. In the stories, Charon would always require a coin as payment for passage across the river. But that never made any sense to me. What does an ancient immortal being need with coins? In our case, it seems Charon didn't take the coins we had. He or she merely checked we had one in our possession. So, maybe there's something special about the coins each of us had on us. That might explain why we wound up here, but so many others did not. No. I mean, I had my suspicions, especially after Livia's ramblings, but I would never have figured it out without your help, I promise you. Now that we know where we are, we have to figure out what to do about it if we don't want to be cast into gold for eternity. We don't have much to go on, except the old stories. I remember 4 in particular about heroes in the underworld. Hercules, the demigod and son of Jupiter. Orpheus, a Thracian poet. Sisyphus, a king of Ephyra.
Às vezes esses 4 vão ser...
Hercules was able to leave the underworld because he cowed its god with his strength. Sisyphus and Orpheus both relied on their wits instead. They persuaded the goddess of the underworld, Proserpina, to help them escape. And finally, Aeneas was able to escape with the help of a spirit guide, who led him through a secret gate. So it seems you have 2 options: to confront the god of the underworld head-on, or find a way to escape with the help of Proserpina or some other guide.
Ah, beleza. Tem 2 jeitos. Ela falou de sair daqui ou confrontar o deus do submundo, ou pegar a ajuda de um dos outros 4 deuses que conseguiram escapar. Eu vou tentar confrontar o deus do submundo, porque eu livraria todo mundo, eu acho.
All Romans try to avoid saying it, and the reason is quite simple. He might hear us. You may refer to him as Pluto, if you wish, but you'll only be calling attention to yourself. Do so at your own peril.
Beleza. Não. Confronte em Pluto.
Is everyone so blunt where you're from? Oh. That option would be the boldest, but also the only way to learn the truth about the Golden Rule, and maybe even put an end to it. As I said, Hercules managed to overpower the god of the underworld, but he was a demigod. Forgive my candor, but you are no Hercules. Are you telling me that you can? I won't pretend to understand exactly what that means, but if that's true, then perhaps you stand a chance. So, if you want to confront him, I'll help you as much as I can. Who knows? Perhaps your name will be uttered in the same sentence as Hercules one day. But first, you'd need an audience with you-know-who, and for that, you'll need to enter the great temple overlooking the city. The problem is, the door has been sealed shut for as long as I've lived here, and there doesn't even seem to be a keyhole. I suspect the answer lies in the desecrated obelisk in front of it. I'm not sure if you noticed, but there are 4 plaques missing from its base.
Eu vi.
It looks as though somebody, or a series of somebodies, forcibly removed them, and in doing so, dishonored and angered our divine keeper. If you could recover and replace all 4 of those missing plaques, I imagine he might be willing to receive an audience again. It's the towering stone monument with 4 sides and a pyramid-shaped head that stands before the great temple, a dedication to the god of this place. You'll find them all over Rome, but of course they were looted from Egypt many years ago. It seems one of them made its way here too, although how is a mystery. However, this one is unusual in that each of the 4 sides is decorated in a different style: Roman, Greek, Egyptian, and another I don't recognize. That means you'll need to recover 4 different plaques: Roman, Greek, Egyptian, and a 4th, a mystery plaque.
Beleza.
Good question. To answer that, we first need to ask who would have defaced the obelisk in the first place. It would have had the god's name engraved into it, so it may be that whoever desecrated it wanted that name to be forgotten. and there's only one group of people I know of who might want to do that. There's a cult in Rome that often argued there is only one true god. Theirs, of course. They've been known to start fires, as well as deface religious monuments whose existence challenged their beliefs. If I were you, I'd go looking for them. Of course, they've all been in hiding since the fire last year, so finding them won't be easy. But I did hear a rumor they have a secret shrine somewhere in the city. Perhaps, if you could find that, you might be able to recover the Roman plaque. I don't know. But perhaps you should begin your search with the local Greek fellow, Georgius. His store is in the forum. Perhaps Kabash, our Egyptian resident, would be able to tell us. Unfortunately, he disappeared weeks ago. But I did hear Aurelia is peddling rumors about him at the tavern, so perhaps you could talk to her, or just take a look in his room. I'm afraid you're on your own with that one, but perhaps finding the other three will illuminate the way. It's a reasonable question, but the problem is, this place is fairly well designed to keep us here. There's no way to climb up the shaft. And even if you could build a ladder big enough, just trying it would break the golden rule. We know that, thanks to the writings left behind by those who've tried. As I mentioned, both Orpheus and Sisyphus were said to have persuaded Proserpina to help them escape, and Aeneas was guided to the exit. The problem is, those are the stories of a poet, a self-aggrandizing king, and a brawler about their own heroic deeds, so they should be taken with a grain of salt. First, Proserpina. What we do know about her is, well, it's a grim tale. It's said the god of the underworld abducted and dragged her here against her will, forcing her into marriage.
Vamos perguntar, né?
True, then I suppose so. The problem is, how do we communicate with her without being noticed by her captor? Leaving that aside for a moment, there is also the possibility of a spirit guide. I don't suppose you've come across one of those in your travels? Truly? And you're only bringing this up now? Then again, I suppose you were worried I'd think you were as mad as Navia. Can you tell me more? Is it the same voice? What kinds of thing does it say? Fascinating. Perhaps she's a benevolent spirit. Or perhaps... Perhaps you're hearing the voice of Proserpina herself. If she has indeed been abducted, it would make sense for her to speak in cryptic whispers to avoid detection. Tell me, has she told you anything that might lead you to the way out? Oh, I see. Well, let me know if you hear anything that might be a thread through this labyrinth. All right. I would suggest not discussing this with anyone. The best we can do for them is to let them remain oblivious for as long as possible. As for Livia, it seems she's been shouldering the weight of this terrible secret all this time. Perhaps it would comfort her to know she's not alone. In any case, time is of the essence, so you'd best begin. May Fortuna guide you. Although you may not need her with Proserpina on your side.
Beleza. Vamos entrar na água aqui, né? Não tem nada que me interesse aqui, vamos falar assim. Bom, a Lívia tá pra lá. A coisa correu pra cá, ó.
How'd you do?
Esse cara... Não. A Fábia aqui, ó. Fiquei de falar com ela. Quem ameaçava o outro cara da outra venda.
Need something?
Olha, não falei nada com ela.
There's not much to tell. I mostly just bake bread and try to help out where I can. I suppose it all started about 8 months ago. I was living in Rome with my family when I got sick. Terrible timing. My pa had just arranged a husband for me, a fisherman's son. I was about to meet him for the first time when I came down with an awful fever. I spent the next week in bed. Pa paid priests to make offerings to Asclepius, a white rooster, then a goat. But nothing worked. In the end, they decided I'd do better outside the city. Clean air in the countryside would do me good, they said. But after about a day in a carriage on the Appian Way, I was getting worse, not better. I remember closing my eyes for a bit, and I guess I must have fell asleep, because when I opened them again, I was in a forest by a river. I suppose the driver took off with his fee and left me for dead. Can't say I blame him. I wouldn't have wanted to catch what I had either. Anyway, I went searching for help, stumbled across the trapdoor temple, and here I am. It's nice of you to say, but you should save your sympathy. Lots of people here need it more than I do.
Não. E ela lembra de aparência a Carol, que é a mulher lá do rio.
What? You've been here a few moments and you're desperate to get out already? Why not give the place a chance before you try to leave? Good people here. Galerius works hard on the farm so I can put food on our tables, and Lucretia tries to keep us healthy. My friend Georgius is always mending our clothes, and Virgil makes sure these old walls don't fall down around us. Well, he does his best. I'm just saying, there are worse places you could live out your days. Well, I can tell from your funny accent you're not from around here, but that doesn't mean you don't belong, does it? Oh, I try not to worry about it. I mean, if people are nice to each other, we won't have anything to worry about, will we? You're funny. I'll bet my friend Georgius will like you. And those interesting clothes of yours. And I'm sure he'd love to chatter about the golden rule with you too. He'll be just across the forum in his shop. Terrible shame, that is. Maybe this'll help. Late last night, I was cleaning my oven when I heard some noises outside. The forum's usually dead quiet at that hour, so I came out to see what was going on. To be honest, I thought maybe poor old Dooley had got out of his cell and was snooping around again. So I put my head out and saw someone in front of Virgil's shop. I couldn't tell who, it was too dark. I called out to them, but they just turned and ran off without a word. All I remember is they ran past a lit torch and the light glinted off something metallic. Armour, I think. So I suppose it could only be one of 3 people, Horatius, Domitius or Rufius. I hope that helps.
É, ajuda sim.
All right. Thanks again for taking care of our problem. I won't forget it.
Beleza. Seja o docinho, minha filhinha. Oh! Secondos and Citer were together until the end. Então eles ficaram juntos até o final.
Oh, shiny.
Eu não vou confrontar esse cara agora, porque já é quase 1h da manhã. Vamos salvar. Agradeço demais quem pôde passar aqui, acompanhar a transmissão. E agradeço também demais quem está acompanhando e acompanhou pelo YouTube. Lembrando que os vídeos são gravados nas lives na Twitch, no canal Moragas _gamer, e são postados no YouTube no canal Moragas Gamer. E tô muito ansioso aí para ver como é que vai desenrolar e terminar essa trama aí. Realmente muito interessante. Tomara que continue dessa maneira aí, que cative a gente e nos instigue a querer chegar no final, né, dela. Então, mais uma vez, obrigado a todos, aquele abraço e até mais.